What is the crack, Jack? Get off the bus, Gus. This is the Spilt The E Podcast, and I'm your host, Sean O'Grady. In this podcast, we split the entertainment of Vancouver City right down the middle by taking artists out for a drink. This week's guest, you can find him on the street, you can find him in the studio, and on Friday, you can find him on Spotify with his band, BAD MNY. Our guest this week is TERADRUM. How are you, man?
Good to be here. Thank you for having me, Sean. This
I'm very delighted to have you.
First podcast. I'm pretty nervous, but
don't be nervous. Your first podcast and your first Guinness.
First Guinness. I'm so excited for that right now.
This is sweet. I'm delighted to be popping your Guinness cherry.
Yes.
So, man, tell me, how did you get into music?
So, funny story. Growing up in Korea, my mother wasn't happy about me being as a musician, but I had this influence from my grandmother as being a cellist, and also my father being a metalhead and also really into the rave scene and also into underground music.
Mix, right?
What a mix, right? Classical music to underground to metal music. So it's been a huge diversity of like my parents showing me this is like music and stuff. And
so did you start off playing cello?
No. I first started off playing piano because of my mom was forcing me to learn piano. It's an Asian stereotype, which is all of
kind of either the fiddle or the violin.
Exactly. Right. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a crack for piano, and then after 4 or 5 years into piano, I was in church and I heard this drum sound, and I always had interest in rhythms and also into banging stuff. So I heard drums and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I looked into it and someone was playing drums, and I literally went up and I was like, can you teach me how to play drums? And then that's how I first met my drum teacher. I was 12.
Unreal.
I was 12. And then I went up and I was like, can you teach me how to play drums? And that's how I literally met my first drum teacher in church.
And that's in Canada, right?
No, that's in Korea.
That's in Korea?
That's back in Korea.
Holy shit. And what was the actual like music that you were listening to that developed that sound or your sound today?
Because of my father, I was heavily influenced by rock and metal.
Yeah.
I was back in the day. I was listening to Fear Factory, Tool, SEVENDUST, Metallica, Megadeth, Napalm Death. A lot of metal stuff.
Yeah. How did you like develop that sound of drumming? And what does it even start off drumming? I am a novice in drumming. Where would you begin? Just getting drumsticks.
Just get drumsticks and playing on a pad, on a rubber pad, to get your timing and also your hands and also your like basic rudiments.
Yeah.
And then you sit on the drum set and you just play like boots and cats.
Yeah.
For years and years, and then you develop from there.
Because if anyone is watching and you haven't heard of TERADRUM, and go out and watch them you do on the street in Kitsilano or in English Bay, you will be drumming on...
I'll play buckets.
Buckets?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Interesting story. I was in a punk rock band back in Korea, and then I wanted to do more with myself. I wanted to stand out more.
Yeah.
So I was going through YouTube, and then I saw this Australian guy busking on the street with buckets. And I was like, that's it? And then I told my dad, Pops, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to look for buckets, I will go to construction sites and I'll steal a couple of buckets.
Yeah.
That's how it started. I stole a couple of buckets, I washed down all the paint, everything, I scrubbed everything, I made the bucket look nice and clean. And then I just brought it out the streets and I would just freaking play on them. And then people was like looking like, what the fuck is that guy doing? And then because as a foreigner in Korea doing that kind of stuff, it could be very unfamiliar for people.
No way.
But I used that as a weapon, and I kept develop, practice, and try other things. And then at one point I started playing music with my performance. And then when that happened, everything changed.
Oh, wow.
Everything changed.
Our drinks are just about to arrive here. So you get your first Guinness, right? First Guinness. This is This is what we call in Ireland mother's milk.
Oh.
All right. So I'll explain the game.
Okay.
So the whole concept of Split the E, it starts off from a pint of Guinness, where we split the G.
Okay.
So see this line here?
Right there.
That white line. You're gonna take a drink, and you have to guess it in your head. And when you put it back down, that white line has to cut in between the G, and the middle of the E.
Okay.
All right.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
pretty big gulp part.
It's a pretty big gulp, all right? So this is really nice to be your first time drinking
First Guinness,
and you have to play this.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Best of luck. I got it.
How's that?
Oh, you're
I went a little
off.
bit down, but
A little bit off, but it doesn't matter.
It
Do
doesn't
you like
matter.
the taste? You really do?
it's really nice.
Yes.
My mom, I always see my mother drink Guinness back in Korea, but I've never tried. I wasn't a big beer drinker, but this is really nice.
It's brilliant, and we're here in the Irish Heather that actually do a very good pint of Guinness, and thank you very much.
I would drink this.
Well, you
often.
should.
This is super
Back
epic.
back in the day, like the advertisement for Guinness, they were like, drink Guinness, it's good for you. But I don't know how good it is for you. And pregnant women in Ireland, they'll drink half a pint of Guinness because there's loads of iron in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is basically good for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There you go. But don't drink Guinness when you're pregnant. I think it's very
not good. Don't drink alcohol. Don't drink
Exactly.
alcohol.
So what? When you're there out in the street eating pots and pans, what's the strangest item that you picked up and you were like, oh, this could be good?
I think it was a broken microwave.
What?
A broken microwave. I was in Value Village just thrifting, and then I saw this beat up microwave, and then I had my drumsticks in the car.
Yeah.
So I went to my car, I brought my drumsticks, and I was just tapping on it out of curiosity, and then it kind of sounded cool.
Yeah.
And it was $7, so I just bought it. I brought it home, and then in my garage I set up my busking kit.
Yeah.
And then I put the microwave, and then I was like going, and then I was hitting the microwave, and it sounded so good. So I literally brought that. The next day was a weekend, so I brought it out in Robson Square. I was beating on it, and it sounded good. I busted in a week.
No way.
Unfortunately, but it sounded mental. Yeah.
That's actually random.
Yeah, but funny thing, as a drummer, you can literally make anything to an instrument. That's one good strength that I
there's
think
a documentary
that I have.
about it's actually about guitarists, and it's Jack White.
Jack White, yeah.
White Stripes. The Edge from U2, and they're like, how do you create a sound of like an electric guitar? But Jack White literally like has a block of timber and a nail. This is the beginning of the documentary. I can't remember the name. Sickening, I can't remember the name. But he's hammering the hammer or the nail into the timber and winds up the guitar string, and then he just plugs it into a jack at the very beginning of this podcast or documentary, and he's just like playing that.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool, so cool. So going from you playing on the street, then you developed your sound, and when did you decide to go, okay, I'm going to do this while I DJ?
Well, for DJing, I always wanted to incorporate like a live set thing, playing drums while I DJ.
Yeah.
So it took me like a year or two watching videos and figuring out what kind of instruments that I need to incorporate that electronic sound out of a drum. So I bought like an electronic pad and
drum machine,
like a drum machine, those kind of stuff, and I hook it up, and then I just DJ and I play drums on the side. But I don't play it as much. It's the best tool to hype up the crowd before a drop comes in. You just do snare rolls and just hit a fucking cymbal, and people go nuts. That's my secret weapon.
It's so cool. moving on to your main project.
Main
This
project.
is the winner.
This is the winner.
Bad Money.
Bad Money, yes.
Out this Friday on Spotify and iTunes and everything.
Yes. Black Widow coming out at 12 a.m. We're super excited for that.
Explain, how did your band start?
So, funny thing, our band met at English Bay while I was busking.
No way.
Emmett, our guitar player,
Yeah.
offered me a hi-hat stand. And I said, I'm okay, I have everything on the floor and I got everything. And then I see them going nuts in the crowd, and I was like, those guys are nuts.
Yeah.
And then after I packed up, I was going up the street, and then I heard guitar and bass sound, and then I saw Emmett playing right in front of
By
Starbucks
himself?
by himself, and then our first bassist.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, can I join you guys? And then we like played together, and then I told him like, we should do this as a regular basis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that's how I met Emmett, and then we did that for a couple of months. And then we wanted to take the band to the next level, to be a proper band, not just a beach busking band.
Yeah.
And then throughout that time, we had to find another bassist, which is Gabe,
Yeah.
our third most important person that perfected our sound.
Yeah.
Was Gabe, and Gabe was originally Emmett's friend, and then that's how we connected. And then one day I reached out to him through Instagram and asked him because he is also a guitar player, but I asked him if he wanted to play bass in our band, and then he said, yeah, why not? And then that's how we started. We played our first show last year, 2 years ago, at the Waldorf for a wrestling match.
I seen that on Instagram.
And yeah, that was super fun. And then since then, we just kept crafting our sound, figuring out what we wanted to do with our music and also with our talent. And now, fortunately, we recorded in the most iconic, best studio around the world. And also we have an epic producer who's really...
It's Jeff, right?
Jeff, yes. Jeff Zip, he is a beauty. And then, yeah, since then we just try to be cool guys and play music and be like in a rock band.
So when you're like at the early days of getting the three of you together, how did you like develop? What are tricks that you use, or like did you always like have this one common interest in that niche of music that you're playing?
Well,
or how did you figure that out?
We wanted to play music, but before that we wanted to be best friends.
Oh, really?
So, like, of course we have our music stuff, but out of that context, we are best friends. That's what makes our bond stronger as a band, and also our friendship, because a lot of people from the crowd feeds off from that energy that we share. So usually when you're on stage, usually a performing artist would interact with the crowd to bring that energy. But funny thing for us, we interact with each other on stage, and the crowd feeds off of that energy, which is very different comparing me busking, because for me it's just directly to the audience that I hype them up, and then people go nuts on my like screaming and playing crazy stuff. But on stage, on a proper stage with Bad Money, is our interaction and our connection, which is very unique and very special.
That's so cool.
I can't explain in words.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Is there like, I don't know, to like symbiotically, you know, the whole timing of the band in general and music? Unfortunately, I never got to play, or I don't really play it myself. I've learned guitar, 2 songs, The General, Wonderwall.
Oh, of course. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
And Wild World, Cat Stevens, right? That was the 2 songs, and Summer Kid hit in, and I was outside playing soccer with the guys.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I wish I was developed my skill, but I never did. But like, to know your timing, my timing, his timing, that's like, it's a superpower.
It is. Like, the more you play together, the more you understand each other.
Yeah.
So we were just playing hours and hours in a room locked up, and we were just trying to figure out what sound we want to be, what kind of band we want to be, and also sharing our favorite bands to each other, and also learning from others was a huge difference and also a very big step for myself to be a drummer and to be that rhythm section in that role, because originally our guitar player background is blues and country music. Which blues I've known from piano, but I've never heard country music before even coming here. So that was a huge different music genre for me to understand.
You're coming from punk,
from
heavy metal,
and also to K-pop to now country music, which I've never heard. So that was a very big difference for me to adjust, and also to learn what kind of stories and what kind of music rudiments that they have to bring to the table. So that was a very big adjustment for us, because personally, country music is not my favorite.
Me neither.
So I wanted to change and also develop our guitar player's ear to more of a modern rock sound.
Yeah.
So it took me a year to come to this point.
Just going off, because there's a Canadian artist who is amazing. It's Coulter Walt. Have you ever heard of him?
No, never heard of him.
He's like, I think he's like 23, but he sounds like a 52-year-old that had like a couple of surgeries from cancer on his shoulder.
Exactly, that's how Emmett sounds.
Yeah, he's from Ottawa, right?
They're both from Calgary.
Calgary, sorry, my bad.
Both from Calgary, and it's funny thing, like, they're all my age, but they sound rough.
Yeah, they do.
So it's very funny to all the time when we come off stage and when we're talking like with other people, it's like, how old are you guys? And we're like, 24, 26, 22.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
Yeah,
So all the time we laugh about that, because we're just this rough dudes just playing on stage.
That's so
and
cool.
People are just like, oh, interesting.
So, just to take a little step back, so you were born in Canada.
Yes, I was born in Canada.
You left and you went to South Korea.
Yes.
And I read in an article that you left South Korea to follow your dream as an artist, and you came back here. Is that correct?
I wanted to pursue music because in Korea, if you are a famous artist in Korea, you will only stay in Korea.
Yeah.
But out in the West here, like, the potentials are very big compared to other smaller countries. So first I wanted to see what's out there, because it's like being trapped in, also traveling, but I wanted to see what other music is out there. So I just came here where I was born and then started, and then COVID happened, which sucked.
Oh, big time.
You know.
So that brings sorry to interrupt, but that brings me on to my next question. Is it seems like you're living the dream right now, right?
I am getting
pursuing your dream.
Yeah, I am very pursuing my dreams.
We are all the directors of our own lives, and if money was no object, I would love to have the job of picking music for a TV series or a film. Let's put yourself into that job. If you have 3 songs to pick for your whole life from start to finish, and it plays through your montage movie, what would it be?
So the first song would be Black Widow, which we'll be releasing on Spotify.
Yes.
Also, this is my very first song,
yes.
And we've put everything into this song.
Yeah.
So for the first introduction would be that, and then for my second song would be The Past by SEVENDUST.
Okay.
Which is an epic song. It is my last song that I heard leaving from Korea with my father in the car.
That must have been emotional.
I was crying like hell. And that would be my...
Can you explain that song?
Oh,
I haven't heard it.
It's a acoustic bass modern rock song. And there's two singers in that. The singer of SEVENDUST and then also another feature. And then they share this story talking about the past and leaving everything behind and moving forward. So that was literally me leaving behind my life that I had in Korea and starting a new one here in Vancouver. So I resonate with that song a lot. And also I share this special moment with my father as well.
Yeah. I think you were saying earlier before in the podcast that you gelled with your father through music too.
Yes, through music, through life, through everything.
And your father was a DJ. Or
Yeah, he has a very big techno, underground music influence, and also metal. Like his balance is very weird.
Yeah.
It's very like in the morning you wake up, you're listening to heavy metal, and then at night you're listening to like tech house and techno stuff.
Unreal.
So yeah, it's a funny thing for me too. When I'm sad, I listen to rock music, and on a daily basis, I listen to like minimal and like house music.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That is sick. So we'll get your last.
For my last song, I think it would be a Metallica song.
Go on.
Because that is hard. It's first string.
Cheers. Yeah, 100%.
Song. I think it has to be Battery by Metallica.
Okay.
It's the third album, the first song, and it was my first Metallica song that I ever heard.
Yeah.
And then it blew my mind. I was like, I need to play this. So I dedicate a whole year of learning Metallica through the first album till the fifth album. I learned that everything, their discography, I learned it like note to note.
Yeah.
And then that was my goal by end of middle school. So grade 9. By grade 9.
Can you give me your age? Because
I am.
is different than that.
So grade 9 would be around
14, 15.
16, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
around
yeah.
15, 16. So while I was graduating, me and my buddy said, okay, after our graduation, we went into the band room and we literally played for 5 hours. The whole album front to back, we just played it. And then we left school, and then high school, here we come.
Holy shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's mad. That's sick, dude. That's sick.
Music was a very huge thing for me. And I always loved interacting through music and also meeting new people through music.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
When I was in school, I listened to the Arctic Monkeys.
Arctic Monkeys.
All right.
Amazing.
And do you know that like the music video from The View from the Afternoon?
Yes.
And it's literally just drum bass.
Yes.
And he has to strap his arms. Has that ever happened to you? That you have to like literally, like you said, I played for 5 hours there.
Yeah.
Would your arms not be, or your hands be rough?
I was toast after.
I could imagine.
But usually if you play very frequently, you'll get blisters and you'll get calluses and all that kind of stuff. But you'll get used to it. You have to toughen your hands to be that.
Yeah.
But also, I use medical tape.
Okay.
For example, for busking, if I busk for a long time, because playing drums and hitting buckets requires different movement.
Yes.
And I have to use more force when I play buckets, so my hands get fucked.
No.
So usually,
that makes sense.
Usually I just put medical tape and then I just keep playing.
And to play buckets, and then compared to like a normal, even like drum machine, there's 3. And do you ever play that Puko box?
Oh yeah, it's a cajon. Yeah, I used to play. I used to play those.
It's all different timing and speeds, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, everything is. The rhythms are always the same. It's
Even
just how to translate to a different instrument.
And your structure is completely
totally different. My back, I have major back problems because I'm busking.
Yeah, I can imagine. It seems
because I'm always crouched down, leaning forward to hit everything.
Like, do you know the drummer from Who?
Yes.
See how
Keith Moon's
style is different?
Yep. Amazing. Keith Moon was one of my growing up heroes.
Yeah.
It was John Bonham, Keith Moon.
Yeah.
And crazy. Like his attitude as a drummer was what I looked up to. Like his drummings are amazing, but his attitude and his rock star attitude was like, I need to be that. I need to be that. I'll throw out TVs out of hotel rooms when
the microwave you had earlier.
Yeah. Exactly.
Have you ever like injured yourself while you're drumming, or like obviously you're snapping sticks a lot?
No, just my hands. My hands get really like bleeding when I hit a snare drum. If I like hit my finger, usually it kind of hurts a lot, and when it splits, you just bleed on snare drum. It's kind of cool. Like on stage one time on my New Year's gig, I was playing drums and then I hit a snare drum and I literally hit my finger on the hoop.
Oh, no
and then
way.
it cut my finger and my snare was full of blood. And I look back and I'm like, that is cool.
Yeah.
At the moment, you don't know because filled with adrenaline, you just keep playing.
Yeah.
But when you come off stage and you realize what happened and you're like, oh my god.
There was a murder.
Yeah.
Have you wait, you have an upcoming release that is Friday.
Yes.
And you also have a show. When is that show?
So the show is April 23rd. It's at the Cobalt, one of the best sounding system venues for live music.
Yeah.
We're honored to play there. We've never been there. Funny thing, Bad Money, throughout the whole year of 2022, we only played 2 official shows.
And the rest was busking.
And the rest was busking.
No way.
So we had a vision that we wanted to bring the people from the beach to a proper indoor setting.
Yeah.
And then we pulled it off and we were like, yeah, we can definitely do this in a bigger venue, stage and bigger venue. So we just kept going, writing songs, and we wanted to be a proper band. Like at first we were thinking this as a hobby, as a fun thing.
Yeah.
But at the Fox Cabaret, when we sold it out, that was our second show.
Yeah.
We sold it out, and that hit us really hard. Saying
that venue was amazing too. Yeah.
It was really nice, and it really hit us hard to make us realize that this can be the next biggest thing. And thankfully for the music industry in Vancouver as well, they're very supportive, and also they're really liking what we're doing, because there's not many bands, rock bands, that do what we're trying to do and what we're trying to carve throughout the Vancouver music scene.
Yeah.
And since then we just tried writing more songs and try to be cool, I guess.
So can I get your and can everyone get your Instagram handle?
Oh yes, for sure. So my Instagram handle is TERADRUM, TERADRUM, and my band's Instagram would be BAD MNY, BAD MNY, and we have an upcoming release for April 15th. And we have a release show coming on the April 23rd, which we all have the pre-save and also the ticket link on our bio. So go get them, pre-save them.
Tickets, guys.
And we're trying to sell it out, so I hope you guys can come and support us and also hear our upcoming single, which will be epic.
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait as well.
Just one random question.
Yes.
For anyone that wants to start off busking, do you literally did you just grab your buckets and head off?
I just went full send.
There is no
there's not many people
legal shit or anything.
Well, technically there is.
Yeah.
But I told you, you need an attitude to own the streets.
Yeah.
So that's what I have. Like, of course, legally you need a busking license, but for me, I just built a relationship with the Vancouver police.
Yeah. Because how I got to know you was literally I was cycling back from the drum circle. Have you ever gone to the drum circle?
Once. It blew my mind. I was like, it's sick. I was like, next time everybody's asking me am I at the drum circle or anything? I'm like, no, but one time I will pop up with my buckets and see how it goes. Yeah.
I was cycling back, and you were playing on English Bay, and we were like, what's going on here? Honest to God, there was at least 150 to 200 people circling this. So what's going on? And then it was you in the middle, and just absolutely beating away on your buckets, man. And it's what a unique way to have a speaker and you're playing to a song, which was so sick.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Well, man, I'm thankful for coming on the show. I'm really delighted to have you, and best of luck to you and your band, Bad Money.
Thank you.
Coming down the line, I would like to have the three of you on.
Of course, we would be definitely coming again and
on the next release.
Next release for sure, definitely.
Thank you so much. Cheers. I'm delighted you like Guinness.
Oh, what a beauty! Sponsor us, Guinness.
Yeah, please do. Come on, Guinness. Man, your honesty and generosity will never escape my memory.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Please like, subscribe. Thank you. See you again next week, guys. Peace. Unreal.